Hi everybody, and welcome to Book Talk Tuesdays. We're actually going to do double Book Talk Tuesdays this week because we were at the State Library Conference last week. So you're going to hear from me today and then Kate tomorrow, and we're going to share all kinds of new books and exciting things happening at the library. So today for Book Talk Tuesday, I want to share with you about some of the exciting changes that we've made into our children's room, especially when it comes to our nonfiction collections and our beginning readers. So come with me and I'll show you where they are and a little bit about each section. So notice that we've opened up the library a little bit more in our children's room. If you come in, you will see kind of some big empty spaces. This is our play space for our really young ones, and we're going to get a rug in here pretty soon. But there are lots of little toys in our bucket that you can bring to the table or to the floor and enjoy playing with. You are more than welcome to just grab whatever you would like. We want to make this a fun and inviting space for families to just spend time in. So if you come to this little L-shaped area that we've made with the shelves here, this is where our beginning readers are now located. Beginning readers are a special collection. They're a little bit different from picture books, and they're a little bit different from easy nonfiction. So let me kind of show you what I mean by that. Easy readers are all about the same size and shape. They're all this kind of skinny rectangle, and they usually will say something on them like step into reading, read with me, maybe easy reading, beginning reading, learn how to read. And then they all also are leveled. Now, some publishers are really nice and they put that number for the level right clearly on the spine cover, and so it's easy for you to kind of peruse through and go, oh, this is a level 2, this is a level 1, this is a level 3. And sometimes the publishers don't put them on the side, like this one you can see does not have a number on the spine label. But if you open it up on the first couple of pages, it will generally tell you in there, or maybe at the last couple of pages. I'm actually not seeing a number on this one, so that does make it tough. We're kind of working on one of our long-term projects is we're going to go through and make sure that all of these have a number, so the ones that are missing we'll actually add a sticker to it. But if you're looking for level 1 or level 2, as you look through, you can see the numbers on the sides. Sometimes it actually has the word level as well, and sometimes it's just the numbers. So like this one says level 1. But that kind of gives you an indication of what you're looking for. Typically, level 1 is very, very emergent reading, so pre-kindergarten and kindergarten. Level 2 is going to be late kindergarten and first grade. Level 3 is when you have much more independent reading, so you're into first grade and then second grade. And there are a few level 4s. Those are definitely more when you're kind of at the end of second grade and moving on to reading to learn in third grade. So we have our beginning readers or easy readers here. They are organized by last name, but these are really great if your child's teacher has recommended doing some reading practice at home based on their reading level, or if you just want to kind of hone in on some of those reading skills. I have a sign here at the top of the beginning readers that kind of lets you know what they are and a little bit about them. Beginning readers are specifically designed to teach early reading. So they're a little bit different from a picture book because their text is controlled. The way that the books were written specifically helps a student or a child with their beginning reading skills. They were explicitly written for that purpose. And so, like I said, they are leveled. There's easy vocabulary. They kind of limit the level of the vocabulary, so it would be words that your student would be exposed to in those particular grades. And there's a focus on specific phonics patterns. So most of the beginning readers will follow decodable word patterns. So maybe many of the words in there have the short A sound, ah, and you're practicing ah words all the way along as you read. Or maybe they're practicing some of your digraphs like CH or SH, ch, sh. And so you see those repeated words throughout. But all of the words that they've chosen for beginning readers are what's known as decodable, which means if the child is at that level, they're going to be able to figure out what those words are, either by sounding them out or chunking them. So they're written with that in mind. The text in an easy reader is also kind of interesting because it's usually put in stanzas as opposed to long lines of text like in a picture book. So I'll find one that has maybe a level 2 or 3 here. We'll have more text. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Let's do this one. I should have picked my book before I came out here, huh? See how it's kind of in a chunk. So some beginning readers will have a little chunk like this, a paragraph or a stanza, but they're small. The text doesn't go all the way around and they repeat all the way down the page. We also have these in our beginning reading collection, which are called We Both Read. And these are kind of cool because they specifically have the parents read on the left-hand page and the children read on the right-hand page. So you can read it literally together page by page. There's a part that they've picked out with words that are easily recognizable for the younger children. So these are cool too, and they're interfiled in this section. So here are our beginning readers. We'd love for you to check that out. And then on the back wall of our children's section, we have our nonfiction. And this has always had our nonfiction, but the change that we made recently is that we moved our easy nonfiction over here next to our J nonfiction. So this whole entire wall now goes from easy nonfiction to J nonfiction and then our biographies. And let me show you a little bit about that and what the difference is. So if you come with me to the end here, these first columns are easy nonfiction and they are labeled with an E and a green dot. So that's how you know it's different than our J or juvenile nonfiction. Easy nonfiction has large text, many pictures, and they use the pictures to kind of correspond with the text. So it makes the text sort of come alive because you can see in the illustrations what they're talking about. There's easy vocabulary, just like our beginning readers, but these were not specifically written to teach reading. They're written to teach on a subject or share content on a subject at a lower reading level. So students that are in that kind of K2, I would say preschool to grade 2 range, will be able to read the text in most of these books, again, depending on where they are in that range. But this is kind of preschool to grade 2, but they're not learning to read with these, they're learning about a subject at their level. So the text in these, like I said, is often bigger than in a picture book. And sometimes each page only has a couple of words. So they're really, really picture heavy. But again, they kind of lower the vocabulary and they make the focus more on getting meaning from the interaction between the text and the pictures. Easy nonfiction also includes topics that pertain to toddlers and preschoolers. So this is where you're going to find books on potty training, on manners and feelings, the alphabet and numbers, and other topics that would be appropriate for that age group. So we have that collection here, all with the green dots. And then when you see this next red sign, this is where our junior nonfiction begins. Junior nonfiction is the name of what we call our nonfiction books for kids really in grades 3 through, I would say, 8 or 9. So elementary, and that's not to say that a student younger than 3rd grade can use these books, absolutely not, but that's kind of the reading level that they are targeted for. So late 2nd grade all the way up to early high school, I would say you would find books with an appropriate reading level here. The difference about J nonfiction is that they're not written for a lower reading level. However, you still have a lot of that interaction between the text and the pictures for students that are still learning how to read and developing their reading skills. So here, I think you saw the sign, but I'll kind of focus on it for a second. They're transitioning the text from the really big text and fonts that we had in easy nonfiction to more of a YA size. We're kind of bridging that gap. The pictures and the text still work together, so you have graphics, you have captions, you have paragraphs that go along with an illustration. This is where we really start getting introduced to new vocabulary words. A lot of times you're going to see books that have bolded vocab words and then a glossary or dictionary later on. You have longer paragraphs. These can honestly even be chapter books. So we start getting into chapter books that are just on a nonfiction or a true subject. We have complex sentences, so where we had real simple sentences with just your main subject and your main verb, period, in easy nonfiction. Now we start getting into some longer writing styles in here. So these are really helpful for kind of your older audience. This is a perfect example of a nonfiction book that looks more like a chapter book in our J section. So you can see we're definitely aiming towards that upper elementary audience. But sometimes you'll get a book that clearly integrates the texts with the pictures. So on this one, you can see we definitely have more text than the easy nonfiction. They've bolded some of the vocabulary words, and there are paragraphs, but they're kind of changing the shape of the paragraphs based on what's going to fit on the page as they kind of explain the information. So the pictures kind of help as you learn what they're talking about. And then the Eden Public Library has kind of a special, all of this is J nonfiction, but the Eden Public Library has a special section at the end of our J nonfiction specifically for biographies. So these columns are all biographies, and they're not organized by the author of the book, they're organized by the person that the book is about. We mainly made this change because we know that the elementary schools here in town do a biography project once a year in 4th or 5th grade, and we have lots of families that come and request biographies. So we wanted to make it super easy for you to come and find the people that you were interested in studying. They're all here. We would love to encourage you to come read a biography at any time of the year because we have some really interesting people. And this is where most of our Who Was books are located because most of them are about a person, and so they're in the biography section. Who Was George Washington Carver, and Who Was Lewis Carroll are the two that I pulled, but we have a whole bunch of them intermixed in our biographies. We do have Where Is and What Is kind of as part of that same series, but those are going to be their nonfiction call numbers. So we have some new ones that we just purchased. These are on display because they're brand new as of September. So we have some of the titles accessible, but we have more interfiled in J nonfiction. So just ask a librarian and we'd be happy to help you find whatever subject you're looking for. And speaking of new books, we took some time and put a bunch of our other new books up on top of our nonfiction section. So these over here by the biographies are all biographies, and we have really tried to pick some people that you maybe wouldn't expect to find. So learn something about somebody you've never seen before or never heard of. These are really great books to check out, even though they're on the top of the shelf. You can grab them. And then we do have some other new books up here above our J nonfiction right now. It seems like we have a theme about healthy bodies, mental health, physical health, emotional health. There's a really cool biography about the woman that discovered the first coronavirus, kind of a timely subject. So those are all new books. New books in our children's area have a red dot on the spine label, just like new teen and adult books. That way you kind of know, ooh, I might be one of the first people to check these out. And then I just put a theme of oceans up for now over our E nonfiction. But we're constantly adding new books to our collection, so stay tuned for some of those new exciting books. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, some upgrades to how we've organized our children's room to make it easier for you to find what you and your families are looking for. Stop by anytime, ask any of us, we'll help you kind of locate whatever it is you're looking for, and we'll find more than one book perfect for each person that visits us. Happy Tuesday.